Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Hope everyone's doing great today. I have a couple of molds here, and I'm going to do some dried flowers in these heart molds. One has a stand and one doesn't. I'm using some, I believe it's J Diction, not sure, but the links will be in the description box below. And I also have some new discount codes for you guys as well in case you want to purchase some items. Um, I'm affiliated with some companies now, so if you guys want to purchase anything, then just if you would use my discount code, and that'll save you some money. Here I'm just splitting up the cups. I've already poured my resin. I used my Resiner's dual mixer to mix it up. I did throw it in the vacuum chamber. I know this is going kind of fast because I'm still editing all these videos and having to do voiceovers, so y'all just bear with me a little longer. They're almost over. But I did put it in the vacuum chamber, and here I'm just cleaning up my tools and stuff, getting all the epoxy off, which I use 99% rubbing alcohol to do so. And here I'm just going ahead and opening up these flowers that I'm going to use, so I don't have to try to open them once I start pouring my resin. I believe I mixed up like 5, maybe 6 ounces for the first go round, because I'm going to be doing this in 2 stages. I'm going to be letting the first layer cure, till it's tacky, and then I'll pour the next layer. And here I just went in with some pink. I believe it was either Bria Reese or it was Mod Podge, kind of a pink color. And I didn't want to go too dark, so I kind of just went kind of light for this first layer. And I did put a little bit of crushed crystal in there, and I think I put a little too much crushed crystal. Yeah, not realizing that I put too much. And then I'm just opening up this orange, and I added a little pink to it. And honestly, I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to get the color I was kind of going for was a muted, kind of real light. Well, and I did achieve sort of what kind of color I was going for. I was going for a light green. But I wanted it a little bit lighter than that. So I was just kind of mixing colors together for that other cross down there. Now, I didn't do much to that cross when we were done because I didn't like the outcome of it. So I didn't even put it in the final photos because I didn't like the way it came out. So I wasn't even going to do anything with it. I will be repouring that. And here I'm just going in with like just, pastel colors like the light purples and pinks. And I'm going in with some whites. And that's going to be my first layer. And then I'm just kind of, going in and, layering kind of the flowers in each one of these. Now, that other mold over there, I used these real tiny flowers because these other flowers wouldn't fit. They were way too big for that little mold. When I bought that mold, I thought it was a lot bigger than what it was, but it's not. So here, I've actually let it sit. No, I haven't let it sit. I've already got all the flowers, and I put my greenery on the back. So now I'm fixing to put my back my back part on here. And I do a real thin layer on here because then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another layer. And I use the pink that I used the first time. And I'm just going to pour that on the top here. And I don't think I even poured any over the top of that other one, because like I said, I didn't like the outcome of it, so I just didn't want to really waste any more resin. And I mean, it turned out fine. I just didn't care for the color. I liked the flowers and the way the flowers looked. The flowers were bright, but I just didn't care for the color. So with that being said, and here I'm going in. This is the 4-hour fast set from the Shabib. I think that's how you pronounce that name. Of This is that Shabib or Shababib or whatever it is. I don't know. It'll be linked in the description box. This is some more resin that I've had that I was just, testing out for you guys, really, because when I first started doing these, I wanted to be able to give you guys, I was testing out different epoxies, so that way you would know, if you're on a budget, which epoxies would work and which epoxies would not work. So that was my thought process on that. And now I have all this resin that I'm trying to get rid of. So yeah, I have quite a bit of resins that I need to get rid of. So, and now I'm just going in. This is going to be my last top layer. It is not tacky, but it's tacky enough that I can pour it without seeing a line in the piece itself. If you don't catch your epoxy in time when you are doing your resin, if you're doing several layers, 2 or 3 layers, and you don't catch your epoxy in time, you will, on your piece, when you demold it, you will see a line in there, where you didn't catch it, in time. But there's nothing you would be able to do about it at that point. You just have to go with it. You might be able to sand it down, but I don't know. I think you would still, in the center, be able to see it. I don't know. I've never tried to do that way, so I really can't tell you. And here I'm just mixing my epoxy by hand, instead of putting it, in the resiners mixer. Um, and then I will do the light pink again, like I did in the first layer. But I do it a little bit darker this time. And of course, I have to have the crushed crystal, so I added more crushed crystal in there. And I did split it. I believe I split it in 2 cups because I was going to put it in a vacuum chamber. Um, so, and yeah, see how much I put in there? It almost looks red, but it's not. It is pink. But I really like how that pink turned out. I mean, I should have went a little bit lighter, I think, though, because of the flowers, but you know, it's it is what it is, can't change it now, right? But yeah, I think it'll be fine. And it looked okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, it turned out cute. And here I had, after all that, I had quite a bit of epoxy left. So I had to do extras. Of course, I had to do extras, right? So I had, this is one of the molds that And I use crushed crystal in that too. And this is one of the molds that I got on Amazon, and it was a split mold, and I didn't care for it because of it being a split side of it. I didn't even like the way. I don't even. I mean, honestly, I didn't even like the way the rose even came out. I mean, it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't even look good at all. Um, so I put this rose. I filled this mold up. Now I did kind of squish it around and roll it around and all that. So I I did have to cut out quite a bit of it, but yeah, I did. I did put you know several different pours. I poured it several different ways and several different times. Layering it. So it took me a little bit to fill that up. I just didn't put it in there. I removed a lot of it. So like I said, I had to because the video was so long. But and now I'm got some, and these little pink ones are fondant molds, but they turned out really cute. I like the little flowers. I really am trying to figure out how I can maybe shine these up and make um, a shiny mold out of them, because I know we don't like dull molds. So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can make them shine and then redo them in some silicone and make some new molds of them. So that is one of my sides of it that I'm going to do. And here I'm just squishing. Now on these flower molds, either get you a dotting tool and go around them, or just separate it like I'm doing, like pull it apart, squish it around, roll it around, you know, just because you want it to get up in there so you don't have any bubbles at the end, because if you don't get it all up in the petals, you're going to have half of your petals going to be missing. So, and that's what was taking me so long with that purple one, because I was doing the same thing. And those molds are kind of hard to do because they're split molds, and I just don't care for split molds. In fact, I believe I sent that mold back because I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it casted. I didn't like anything about it. And these little pink molds, I believe I got them. I might have got them from Hobby Lobby. I'm thinking we got those from Hobby Lobby, because I'm fixing to pull out a couple more molds, and I think they either all came from Hobby Lobby or they all came from Amazon. But they were one side, and that's one thing about handmade molds. They're not going to be perfect. So I've got that one sitting up on a stick because, of course, it was one side was higher than the other one. They cut off too much on the bottom or the top or whatever it was. But and then so I had to prop it up on a popsicle stick. But it leveled out. It turned out fine in the end. And here I'm just filling up this bowl mold. And I do have plans for this little mold. I've got some soft, I don't know if it's this mold or if I bought a clear mold. But I also bought some, excuse me, I also bought some uh of that soft UV resin. So I've kind of got an idea in my head that I want to try. It's just I've got so many other projects in front of this that, yeah, I got to get done. So, and then here's another flower mold, and I believe I got this one also from Hobby Lobby. And if you don't have a Hobby Lobby, you know, you can probably get them on Amazon, or you can get them from any of your, you know, probably local craft stores or whatever, whichever's in your town or your city or wherever. If you're in the UK, I'm sure y'all got craft stores um, that y'all can, you know, get from that's probably got the same thing. And here I'm just cleaning my mold off because I overspilled, of course. I mean, why would I not, you know? And so I'm just kind of cleaning that up a little bit because I overspilled on those bows quite a bit. Okay, so I've got that mold cleaned. And then on the flower mold, I kind of, you know, I just did some small ones. And got those squished down in there. So hopefully we won't have any bubbles. And then I'm just fixing to spray it with alcohol. Pop the bubbles that are on the surface. And then that's pretty much all of it until time to come back for demold. But I'm just cleaning everything up because I like to do that. Everything I touch has got resin all over it, so I try to clean everything. So here I'm just spraying for bubbles. And I will see you guys on demold. And here, I started with these little flowers first because I wanted you guys to see. They turned out so cute. And I didn't even want to put, you know, I didn't even want to put like gold or anything around them because they did turn out really cute. So I just left them the way they were because I did put crushed crystal in there. I know y'all can't see the sparkle, but it's in there. You can see it. It's really like in your face. Even though that's a bright red, you can still see the crushed crystal, that's for sure. And if you guys will clean your molds um, before, like I was doing, I had the tape on there and I was cleaning around my molds before I demolded. That keeps it from getting into your um, mold when you go to demold. And here I was just showing you guys the bows, and they actually did turn out kind of shiny, and I was really impressed because I didn't think it was a shiny mold, but apparently it is. Um, and I didn't know that it was. So the bows turned out really, really good. And I'll be using these on like my little characters or whatever when I make them. Um, well, I've already made a turtle and a frog. No, a turtle and what did I make? Oh, a turtle and a Highland cow. So that's what these bows and things are for, and the little flowers and all that. It's so I don't have to keep buying that kind of stuff myself. I can make it. That's why I bought the molds. That way I can make my own embellishments, other than rhinestones. But, a lot of these other things you can pretty much make yourself and save you some money. You don't have to go out and buy it. You can find a mold, of things you like to embellish them with, and you have it forever. If you take care of your molds, you'll have them forever. They'll last you a long time, especially the handmade ones. Now, the store bought, those, clear ones that are machine made, they're not going to last very long. They lose their dullness. And like on this cross here, and I was really upset about it because I really thought that this was a shiny mold, and it was not a shiny mold at all. I was really not happy about it at all. So, um, I just, I did take the pictures and just put them up because I needed to get this video out. But, you know, if I sell it, if anybody's interested or whatever, and I sell it, then, you know, I will, I will do something to it. If y'all got, if somebody that buys it's got any ideas that they want on it, then I'll do it if I have it. Um, but I just didn't do anything with it because I was just going to leave that up to the person that buys it. And then here I'm trying to get this flower out. And you can see the struggle, even though it's split 3 ways. This flower still did not want to come out of this mold. So I didn't care for the mold. And it was tearing kind of easy. And so I just didn't, I sent it back. I didn't like it. And it had, you could tell it was 3D printed because it had every ridge of the 3D print on this flower. It was not smooth. It was jagged. It was wrinkly from the filament that they used. Yeah, it was horrible. It was a really bad mold. And you can see it there, all the lines and ridges in that flower from that 3D print. It was, yeah, it was awful. So I wasn't impressed with that flower. I didn't even do anything with it. In fact, I think I threw it in the trash, and sent the mold back because I didn't care for that at all. I was not happy. And I got quite a bit of money for that little mold too. So yeah, I wasn't overly impressed, but you know, it is what it is. I've definitely seen 3D molds a lot cuter than that and how that turned out. And I'm still looking at that crazy flower. And I'm telling you there how the lines and all that are. And it, like I said, it was hard to demold. I'm not gonna lie. And then it was ripping on the sides where they split the mold. It was it was kind of ripping a little bit. But I was trying to look to see if the ridges were inside the mold like they were on the flower. And sure enough, they were. So it was definitely 3D printed, but whoever made that mold and whoever 3D printed it, they they could have done a better job than that on that mold and on that piece itself, because they could have tried to smooth I think the piece out. I don't know much about 3D printing, so I don't know if you can actually, sand that stuff down or file it down and sand it and make it smooth or whatever. I don't really know. But so here I'm going to demold this, the one cross that I did kind of a turquoise color, and that I put the little flowers in. Now this one, like I said, I didn't do anything to it because I wasn't too impressed. Um, because of course they're not shiny molds, and I was very disappointed. And not just that one, the other one's the same way. Yes, can I do a top coat? Yes. Should I do a top coat? Yeah, if I want to sell it, but I'm not selling it. Um, because I don't like the way it turned out. I don't, I buy molds so I don't have to do top coats. And if I would have known that the molds were dull, I would have never bought these molds. I mean, the molds are cute and all, but they're not made for resin. And I really don't know what they're made for. Um, Now that mold looks like it could have been used for um, a Scentsy, for that you hang in your car. But the only thing is, it doesn't have the little round thing for you to hang it with. So that's what I was thinking, that maybe it was a freshie mold, but it doesn't have, and it's not usually freshie molds are a different color. They're not white. They're generally like a pink or something like that. And you can tell the difference between a freshie mold and a resin mold. But as thick as that one was, it did look like a freshie mold to me. Now here, this one is a regular mold because of how thin it is. And I had a little bit of trimming to do on it, but not a whole lot. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I domed it almost pretty good. I'm still trying to I'm still trying to get used to the doming side. I still hadn't mastered the perfect, you know, spot for doming yet. I either over pour it or under pour it, but it is what it is. And me and this deburring tool, we just, I'm still using that stupid thing. Why, I don't know, because I literally bought a file to file and buff that stuff down, and I'm still using the stupid deburring tool. Because I keep thinking, I don't want to pull that little thing out, and da 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 da, and yeah, I should have used it. But yeah, you can see here how matte that one is, and yeah. And I don't want to put UV resin on it, because let me tell you about UV resin and regular epoxy. They do not stick together, not very well. So if you try to put UV resin on top of regular epoxy, it is going to come off at some point. So avoid it like the plague. Don't do it. If you were using epoxy, your best bet is to top coat it with the tabletop resin. And tabletop is a thicker resin, so it doesn't spread as fast and it dries quicker. And it's really, really thick. So, but just make sure that if you're doing top coats that you're using tabletop, because that's going to be your best bet for top coating. That way it doesn't run over, none of that stuff, because you don't want it to run over on all your pieces, because otherwise you're going to have massive cleanup and then you're going to be top coating again. So just make sure you tape all your stuff off, like, to protect the other side, and then make sure you're using a tabletop resin to top coat. But that's why I said on this one, I was just going to leave it, I'm going to leave it the way it is. And, if anybody's interested in purchasing it, um, I do have my shop kind of up and going. It's not quite, I don't have everything listed. But however, if there's anything that y'all have seen on my videos that you want, let me know, because all I have to do is just upload it into the shop, you know, send you a thing telling you that, hey, I've uploaded it, you can go purchase it. And then, so that just because it's not in the store and I don't have it on there doesn't mean that it's not for sale. So if there's something that you see that you want, let me know, and I can tell you, okay, let me put the picture up, let me put it in there, and then you can go purchase it, you know, because I haven't gotten around to putting anything in the store. I was going to do it this week, and we wound up with a massive yellow jack problem in my house. Somehow they got in my walls, and we have been fighting yellow jackets all week. I am barely getting this video out. And that's because I stayed up all night almost trying to get this video edited, and so it could be out for today. Because I mean, it's been crazy. I've been stung. My daughter's been stung several times. We've both been stung several times. It's just like, yeah. How it happened, I have no idea. But somehow they managed to get in between my walls. They were all on the outside. They were coming inside my house. Yeah. I'm like, what in the world? So, and we have bee spray, but there's only so much of that you can do. So, I don't know. I've called an exterminator, but they can't do anything. They're doing the same thing. They'd be doing the same thing that I'm doing, because they're in the wall. So, um, called a beekeeper. They can't do anything because, for one, they're yellow jackets, and two, they're in the wall. So I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm literally just, as they come out, we're killing them. So we've been fighting bees since last weekend. So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised I've gotten any videos out this week. And the only reason why I got the one out on Wednesday was because of the fact that I already had it done prior to the bee issue. And then the bee issue happened, and I didn't get to get this one done and edited before that problem happened. And so now, yeah. So I'm even shocked that I've got a video to play today, guys. So, yeah. But yeah, see how the top of it's really dull? I don't know if it's supposed to be that way. I don't like it that way. But with that, it's going to be so hard to do a top coat without it getting on the other side. I mean, yes, I can tape it off. Okay. I mean, that's not the problem. I can tape it off. And I probably will. It just depends on if someone wants it, then, they can tell me how they want it, and I'll do it however they want to do it. And here I'm just cleaning off all the excess trimmings where I didn't turn my mold over. So, and if you guys haven't subscribed, please do so. It doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't hurt y'all at all. It just helps me to get noticed more. I'm kind of starting to get some recognition. I had a company reach out to me, so I'm very excited about that. And that's why I said I have some discount codes for you guys in the description box. So check that out. And, if there's anything you guys or have been needing or want to order, whatever, don't forget my discount code's on the bottom, and you can use that to save you a little bit of money. So, and here I'm just cleaning out the rest of my mold because I don't like putting my molds up dirty, so I try to keep them clean as much as possible. So, but that is just about the wrap, guys. So with that being said, you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.